Welcome back to Little Orphan Annie and the $1 Million Formula. Today we're reading Chapter 11. Daddy Stands Pat. In all the countries of the world, Eonite was being discussed. Kings, emperors, dictators, presidents. They were all eager to know more about it. The ruler of a certain faraway land was particularly interested. "We must have this material," he announced empathetically to the members of a committee who had just reported everything they had heard and learned about Eonite. "Go at once, lest others are there before you. Pay any price asked." "Very good, sire," replied the committee members, bowing. But Daddy Warbucks was not to be moved by any price. No argument offered by the foreign delegation was strong enough to change his mind. The ruler was incredulous when his committee returned several weeks later without the secret Eonite. "What?" he shouted. "You dare return empty-handed?" "But this man, Warbucks, will not sell," the man protested. "Bah!" retorted their king, scornfully and still unbelieving. "You were too late. He has sold to some other country, you dolts." "I think not, sire," insisted the chairman. "He says he will produce Eonite for the war needs of his own nation only, and at no profit to himself." "Idiots!" the outraged ruler fairly shrieked. "Do you believe such rot? Such blind patriotism is found only in fairy tales." "I'm sure he told us the truth." "Then he must be a fool," cried the exasperated man furiously, tearing his hair. Then, more quietly, he added, "Would that my poor land had even one such fool as he." News of Daddy Warbucks' refusal of the magnificent offer this foreign country had reached Slug's ears soon thereafter. "Do you mean to tell me Warbucks flatly refused to sell even the use of Eonite to any foreign power for any price?" he demanded of the man who brought the news. "That's right, Chief. Says his own country can have all the Eonite it wants at cost." "Why, the man's crazy," pondered Slug, as he stepped out onto his balcony overlooking the city. "I suppose he thinks he's a patriot. If only I had Eonite in my hands, I'd make Hannibal, Caesar, and Napoleon all look like precinct captains. I'd be the king, all right." With work in the plant well underway, Daddy had a little time for reflection. "The benefits of Eonite have already spread across the continent. Thousands are back at work. We've taken in enough to pay off all our obligations. Each day we will receive a fortune to be divided between Morgan, Eli, and myself. Morgan cares little for extreme wealth. Eli cares nothing at all for money. I hope I'm not a hog. How best can we use this tremendous flow of gold? I have it. Our workers in the plant. They should come first. We'll start by giving them a substantial raise." Once decided, Daddy had the order for a general raise written up, then and there, and signed immediately. When the newspapers heard of the order, reporters again flocked in for a story. "Our men have worked hard to put Eonite over," Daddy told them. "I think they're entitled to a share of the profits.
The bigger our profits, the bigger their wages. That's my policy, and I think it's sound business.
When the reporters left, Annie popped her newest question. If Eonite is so good for making buildings for other folks, why is the plant all made out of ordinary bricks? Daddy laughed. You put your finger on something there, Annie. Turning to Morgan, who was seated beside his desk, he said, We've been so busy selling the stuff, we haven't gotten around to using it. The whole plant should be made of Eonite, Morgan replied. Right. And we'll start with a new administration building at once, returned Daddy enthusiastically. But say, how about altercations? Eonite is indestructible. Suppose we want to make some changes later on, asked his friend. Don't worry about that, Henry, Daddy declared, rising with Mr. Morgan, who was about to leave. Old Eli made Eonite. He can unmake it, too. He knows how to reduce it to its elements if necessary. Trust Eli. Local and national business leaders had also thought of this problem, as well as others. One day, a group approached Daddy Warbucks. What about labor? Asked one. If Eonite never wears out, then there'll be no rebuilding, remarked another. A few years of building everything of Eonite and there'll be no more jobs for labor, put in a third. True, came Daddy's reply. Eonite will not wear out. Hence, in a few years, all shacks and slums will be eliminated, and living costs will fall. National wealth will increase. Those with the least will live better than our rich today. Our people will be the happiest and most prosperous on earth. The delegation soon left, but it was evident that they were still doubtful as they went out. Please join me again for Chapter 12, when we read Progress in Production. Thank you for watching, wherever you are.